This is the final look of my loop. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll show you guys how I made this simple loop. This is not for a corset. If this was for a corset, it will have maybe boning, gum and all that, but this loop is just for a simple gown. But the client wants me to add a loop to the dress. So I normally use a bias strip for my loop. You can use your fabric, you can use anything you like, but in cases like this, I normally use my bias strip. So this is a full bias strip. I'll show you guys how I use bias for this loop. So I normally place the two ends together like this. You know, the bias has a closed part and the open part on the inside, so I'll place the two ends like this so that they will be facing each other, and I will go ahead and run a stitch on both of them. I will use a stitch to hold the two of them together. This is a full bias strip. You know how we normally buy it in row, so this is one row, and I'll join the two ends together. I'll run a stitch till the end of the bias strip. So after running a stitch on one side of the bias, I'll turn and I'll go ahead and run a stitch on the other side too, so that the bias will be strong. If you don't want to use this method, you can actually fold one strip. Like, you will not place the two together like I did, you will just fold it and run a stitch on it. That will give you a very tiny loop, but most times I like using a wider one. So I am done running a stitch on one side. I will go ahead and run another stitch on the other side. As you can see, one side is still open, so I'll go ahead and run another stitch on that side. Please make sure your stitch is very tight and neat, so that everything will look good at the back. So I am done running a stitch on that side too, so I'll go ahead and cut this loop into pieces. I'll measure it like 3 inches or 3.5 inch long. So on each side I will add like 5 loops or 6 loops. So I'll go ahead and cut 12 pieces. Each of them will be 3.5 inch long. So I'm almost done cutting, and after getting the 12 pieces that I want, this is what will be remaining. And this one right here will serve as the rope or the band. This is what we use to tie it. So if you are doing this, one bias row will be very okay for you. It will serve as the loop and it will serve as the band or the rope as well. So right now it is time to place it. You will come down by 1/2 inch from the neckline. That part is the neckline side, so I did not start exactly on the neckline. I came down by like 1/2 inch before placing my first loop. So after placing that, I will bend it over and I will also place another one. That means they will be overlapping each other. This is a different method. This is how I like doing my own. If I reach the down part, I will place another one to overlap the former one, and this is how I will continue. I'll place to overlap and I'll sew, then fold in. When I reach there, I'll place another one to overlap and then sew. So as you can see, I have 5 here. This one accommodated 5. If you want, you can make it smaller. It will accommodate like 6. So this is how it looks like. I'll still turn it with my lining. If you fold it over, this is what you have. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing to the other part of the back part. You know, the back is always 2 pieces, one for the right side and one for the left side. So remember, if you are adding a loop, remember you reduce the back panel by 2 inches. You will not add any zip allowance to your back. I normally say that all the time. Instead, you subtract 2 from the back instead of adding. You can even subtract 3 inches instead of adding a zipper allowance. So this is the second part of the back. So I'll go ahead. So when sewing this one, I will be merging it with the first one. The first one will serve as a guide so that the 2 loops will be on the same row, so that when you tie it, it will look equal and neat. So I'll continue placing and overlapping. When I reach the down part, I'll place another one to overlap the former one. So that is the third loop. I'll fold it in a triangular form and sew. When I reach there, I'll place another one to overlap. And this will be the last one. So this is not for a corset. I did not add gum or boning to it. It is just a normal gown. Please do pardon me if you want to add an interface to your fabrics, but I did not add anything to this one. So after doing that, I'll go ahead and turn each side with a lining. First of all, I'll turn the neckline, and after turning the neckline, I'll top stitch. So you will see the reason why I told you guys to leave at least 1/2 inch before placing your first loop. The reason is so your loop will not interfere with the neckline. That 1/2 inch is for turning the neckline. So I'll go ahead and join the lining and the fabric at the neckline, and after that I'll notch, and after notching I'll open it up and top stitch. I'll fold it over and close the loop side. You will join by like half an inch. So after turning that side, you can turn the other side as well. But if you are doing an inseam finishing, you know you will join the front and the back panel of the main fabric and the front and the back panel of the lining before turning the neckline and all that. But for this particular dress, I'm not doing an inseam finishing. So when you turn it, this is what you will have. So this is what you will have. So I'll go ahead and turn the second part too. So I will repeat exactly what I did to the first one. So after turning the two of them, this is what they will look like. The next thing that I do right now is to go ahead and give them a nice press. So iron them so well, and after ironing, this is what you will have. So this is the end of this video. See you in my next video. Please do not forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so that anytime I upload a new video, you will be notified. Do not forget to share so that other people can get to see this video as well. Thank you. Bye.